Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty. Your branches green in summer's glow, and evergreen in winter's snow. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in splendid beauty.
Shalom Israel, and welcome to another edition of Yasharalah's 20-minute breakdown, where I'll attempt to break down the scriptures within 20 minutes. But first and foremost, as always, you know how we do. We give all praises to Yahweh, Baha Shem, Yahweh Shai, Waha Rakah Kadash, and the Akims and the elders in the highways and byways pushing this word in truth and sincerity, all praises, and the elder women teaching the younger women, all praises to you too, and the camps and the solo brothers going out there making videos, edifying the body, pushing the truth according to scriptures, all praises. Today is the 25th of December 2023, and today is supposed to be, as it's known throughout the world, shall we say, as Christmas Day. And they also try to say it's the birth of Christ, and they're celebrating Christ. When you're celebrating Christmas, you're celebrating Christ's birthday, like Jesus, his birthday, as in to say he was born on Christmas, which is the 25th of December. Now, when we're going to go into scriptures, I'm going to prove to you that's not true. And the picture I've got up there, there's one part where it says Jesus, birth 25th of December, Rome. Well, that's the Caucasian Jesus. That's the one they gave us in slavery. So if you want to say that's the Caucasian, i.e. the white Jesus, if you want to say that's his birthday, I'll accept that. But the Christ of the Bible, Yahushai, which is the melanated Messiah, it's not his birthday. Now, I'm going to open up this lesson with Luke chapter 2, verse 42. But first and foremost, I've got my timer, and I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Boom, we're away. Let's go straight there. The book of Luke chapter 2 and verse 42. And it reads, "And now when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast." Now, what custom is this talking about? This is talking about the Passover. But this is the only indication you have of roughly where Yahushai, the one you call Christ, was born, because it says, "and when he was 12 years old." Showing you this is the only indicator you have of his birth, showing you that he turned 12 round the Passover. Now, if you know when the Passover is in spring, which, according to the Bible, that's supposed to be the first month of the year. But if you coincide it with today, that would be in this day and age, March, April, and that's what they call the tax year, the beginning of the new tax year. That's what they call it here. But in the Bible, it's supposed to be the first month of the year. You know what? Watch this. I'm going to read that. Watch this. Now, this is Exodus chapter 12 and verse 1. Listen to this. Exodus chapter 12 verse 1, and it reads, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying," verse 2, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." Now, when you continue reading down, when you get to verse 5, it's where they're told to take a lamb without blemish, and, they have to, keep this lamb until the 14th day of the same month. When you jump down to verse 6, they have to keep this lamb until the 14th day of the first month. And then, what they're supposed to do, they're supposed to kill the lamb, and then they put the blood, strike the blood on the lintel and the upper posts of the doors to protect them, because remember, Yahweh was going to send the death angel into Egypt to kill all the firstborn, and then that's when now they come out of Egypt and they go into the wilderness from that point. So there's no scripture you can turn to in the Bible to find exactly when Yahushai's birth was, or even the fact that we are commanded to celebrate that, or even he celebrated it. There's no verse you can turn to show that Christmas is biblical. But what can be done is to be shown Christmas is not biblical, and the custom that goes with it. So with that, I'm going to jump to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, and I'm going to start at verse 1. Listen to this. Now, you've got to remember, the book of Jeremiah was written even before Yahushai, the one you call Christ, came on the scene. This was in the Babylonian captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. Now watch this. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1, and it reads, "Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel." So he's only speaking to the Israelites. Verse 2, "Thus saith Yahweh." So we know who's speaking. Yahweh is speaking. "Thus saith Yahweh, learn not," that's important, "learn not the way of the heathen," which is the other nations. "Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven." Because why? They are dismayed at it because what do? They do stargazing, they do moon worship, sun worship, stars, astrology. That's what the other nations do. Most High is telling us, do not do that. Let me read on. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Verse 3 here, this is key now. For the customs, so now it's going to go into a custom that these people do. For the customs of the people are vain. Now that word vain means useless, no good, utterly useless, pointless, yeah? For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest. So you see, now it's talking about a tree being cut out of the forest. Now we've got to remember, this was written when there was no such things as artificial trees. So somebody had to go into the forest, cut a tree out of the forest. Let me read on. The work of the hands of the workman with an axe. Remember, they had no electric chainsaw, so they had to use an axe. Verse 4. They deck it, meaning they decorate it. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Now, they had to make a stand so it don't topple over because they cut it out of the forest. So, what is the Bible describing to you? The Christmas tree. So the Most High has told us not to celebrate Christmas. Do not put up their trees in our house. Do not decorate it with silver and gold. Nothing like that. We are supposed to have no dealings with Christmas whatsoever, because it's a pagan worship day. Because this is something that they were doing well before Christ came on the scene. So there's no way it can be affiliated with the birth of Yahushai, the one you call Christ, when he wasn't even born yet. Now, he did give us days, to celebrate. Those days you'll find in Leviticus chapter 23. I'm going to quickly run through them quickly. Now listen to this. Now, when you jump down to verse 3, it tells us about every 7 days we keep the Sabbath, and that's without fail. It's a continual every 7 days. There's no break in that. Then, when you jump down to verse 5, it tells us about on the 14th day of the first month, which is the Passover. Then when you jump down to verse 6, it tells us about the 15th day of the same month, which is the first month, which starts the Feast of Unleavened Bread for 7 days. Then when you jump down to verse 10, it tells us about first fruits, which is the harvest that you would bring, that's the first fruits. Then when you jump down to verse 24, it tells us about the seventh month, the first day of that same seventh month is the blowing of the trumpets. Yeah? Then when you jump down to verse 27 of the same Leviticus chapter 23, you would get, it tells you the 10th day of the 7th month is the Day of Atonement, where when you jump down to verse 32, then it would tell you that that same Day of Atonement, you start it on the 9th day at even. So it goes into the 10th day at even. And that's how you keep the Day of Atonement, where you afflict your souls, yeah? So you would fast and pray for 24 hours. Then, when you jump down to verse 34, it tells you, like, the 15th day of the 7th month is the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days, yeah? That's what you do. And when you jump down to verse 40 of the, Leviticus 23, same chapter, it would tell you that on the first day, the children of Israel are supposed to dwell in booths for those full 7 days, yeah? Now, the only feast day of the Most High you will not find in Leviticus is the Feast of Dedication. Now, if you go to John chapter 10 verse 22, you'll find that Yahushua, the one you call Christ, he kept that feast, yeah? And it tells you how he stood on Solomon's porch. But when you go through where all the feast days are in Leviticus 23, you won't find it there. Why? Because that feast was ordained by the Maccabees when the Greeks took Israel captives, and what they did, they profaned our temple. They were sacrificing swine's flesh on the altar. They were having harlots dally and all these orgies or whatever they were doing in the temple. So they turned the Most High's house, into a whorehouse. So the temple had to be cleaned and dedicated back to Yahweh, which when it was done, that's why you have that feast. Now that feast you'll find in the book of Maccabees, 1st Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52. And it tells you on the 25th of the 9th month, the 25th day of the 9th month, you will keep the Feast of Dedication for 8 days, yeah? And it's kept in its season in winter. That's why when you read John chapter 10 verse 22, it tells you that, and it was winter, because it has to be kept in its season. That's the only feast day that the Most High has ordained that will fall into the winter, which is the Feast of Dedication. But in no shape or form you would ever find Christmas or any such custom. So even if we want to say the name has changed, so any such custom, you won't find that ordained in the Bible for us to do anywhere. So that was, that's definitely a pagan custom and ritual which we should not be taking part in. Right, the only other one I haven't mentioned is the new moon, which new moon just really means new month. And it's mentioned about 25 times in the Bible. And the first time it's mentioned is in the book of 1 Samuel, where, when the new month came in, they would have a feast. The feast was just to celebrate the coming in of a new month. Just meant it was the first day of that month. That's it. So once again, stay away from Christmas and all its, fandangles and it sparkles and everything, because it's something we should not be meddling with whatsoever. So if you are celebrating Christmas, it just totally means you hate the Most High. It's that simple, because you cannot worship two masters. You're either all in with the Most High or you're all out. So I hope I made sense, and I hope you got something with that. So this is Yasharallah. We out.